gorgeous. This is Melanie from Makeup by Melanie B, and today we're going to do something a little different because we're about to get into fall and autumn, and I'm just super excited. It's my favorite time of year. I don't have as many allergies. The weather is so beautiful. The leaves are turning and it's changing, and so kind of that is my inspiration, is going to be the changing of the leaves. So I'm going to make my palette based on the colors in fall leaves. So let's get started. I've already done my face. I will put in the description the products I use to do my foundation and my under eye concealing and all that. But I wanted to go ahead and get that part done so we can focus on the eyes. We will do blush and lips afterward as well. So keep watching and let's get started. So of course I'm going to go in with my Pro to Fit right off the bat, and that's what's going to go on my eyelids because, as we've talked about in a million videos, this is the best prime for your lids because it will even out your skin tone over your eyes, and it just gives you this beautiful like veil of color, but it also preps the eyes for anything we're going to add to it. Now, I always like to set that with the transparent powder that we have. I'm going to use kind of a barely damp, like you can barely feel it, there's no water coming out, sponge, and I'm just going to sweep a tiny bit. And I'm going to put that on the lids. You can use a brush to do that. I just had this handy. I'm also going to put a little under my eyes just so that anything that comes under the eyes we can just wipe off. Okay, so let's start with this color here. This is a mono shadow number 18. It's called Warm Taupe, and that is going to go in our crease. So we're starting out with kind of a deep color here. I'm going in with the little pencil brush. I'm only going to use that to pack it on, and then I'm going to use a blending brush to blend it out so it's not so harsh. Let's start by putting it right here, a little above the crease, and just blending. We're going to pack and blend, right? Pack into the corner. So now that I've got the color there, I want to take a fluffy brush and just kind of blend out the top a little. Like this. We don't want there to be a harsh line there. And I'm going to continue to pack a little bit more so we have a lot of depth in this outer corner when we're done. Now we're going to go in with this middle shade in the Vice Brown palette. Same small brush, and we're going to put that a little bit over the top of our brown and blending it out. So we want to have a hint of orange up here. And this is kind of a warm brown, not necessarily an orange, but it's going to give us that perfect warm tone we need for a fall look. You'll also notice I'm taking it all the way over to the corner. So now let's start adding in some color. So we're going to start with Red Glaze Creamy Eyeshadow. And when I say creamy, these are super creamy. So what I use is like a flat little brush like this and tap it in. So you'll notice I brought it over quite a bit because we're going to blend an orange with this red, and it's going to have a slow gradient going across. So it looks pretty messy, but don't worry about it. We're going to fix it up. We're going to go ahead and take the fluffy blender brush and kind of smooth out just real lightly that line of red and that brown. Just so it blends a little bit better. You can also use the pencil brush to do that. Okay, so now we're going to go with the same brush, but on the opposite side. We're going to use the Orange Pop creamy shadow and pack it on. And it's going to go from here and over the top of our red glaze. And it's going to come almost to the inner corner, but not quite. Now I'm going to flip my brush over where the red glaze is still on there, and I'm going to pat those together so that they blend and there's no distinctive line. Looking kind of crazy. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. I'm going to use the Golden Shot Creamy Eyeshadow. This is number 05. I've never used this one before. I've pretty much been waiting for an opportunity like this in order to use it. So I've got a clean little blender smudger brush, and I'm going to go in with that in this gold. And that is going to go into this inner corner as close as I can get it, and a little over the top of the orange. Now on the other side of this brush, I'm going to dip into the orange, and that way I can blend the two together without a line. So I'm just going to pat it over the top of the yellow, flip my brush, and do the same thing. And flip back and forth until I have a nice gradient. That is so crazy. Okay, now I keep my lids on my creamy shadows as much as possible to keep them from, getting any extra air in them that they don't need. So I'm going to go back into this section here, this middle color of the Vice Brown palette, and just put a little more of that lightly over the line. Okay, so while the creamy shadows are still kind of wet and haven't dried yet, let's go ahead and add our pigment powders. Now, unfortunately, Farmasi has discontinued some of the pigment powders, but there's a lot of companies that have them. I'm just going to use a tiny bit to pop on top of that yellow section. We're going to do the same thing with the Morocco 02. You'll notice I build colors, like I layer them so that I get more vibrancy, I guess is the word. So I'm going to go back in with the red glaze just a little bit because I don't have a pigment powder for this one, but I want to make sure that I'm keeping that red in there. Just going to tap and add some of that back in here. So now in the outside corner, I'm going to take like a smaller pencil brush, and I'm going to get some of this brown, and I want to make sure I'm getting a lot on there. Now I do want to knock it off before I go straight to my eye, because I want this to be a little darker. I'm going to spritz my brush and get it wet, and then go into my brown for a little more depth. And I'm just, all right, so now I'm taking that same brush and I'm going to go under my eye and kind of smoke it out. Lastly, I'm going to take a little bit of the Orange Pop on the tip of this little brush that I've been using, a little flat brush, and I'm going to connect it right in here, and just overlapping that brown a little bit. We're going to do the same with the red. I'm just using the tip in this outer section. So we're only recreating the order that we did on the top. Now I have this one called Coffee Brown, which is basically like Warm Taupe, but Warm Taupe is a matte, where Coffee Brown is more of a shimmer. I want to take a little bit of this And I'm gonna spritz a little of that Time Locker setting spray and just an eyeliner brush and tap it in there, and then get some of this brown to add a little more emphasis to this outside corner. So for a highlight color up in here, we're gonna add the 3-in-1 face palette, and I'm gonna use the highlight color in the middle. I'm using another little small pencil brush, and I'm gonna pat it in there. And I'm gonna use this for the inner corner. Just tapping it over the yellow to add a little highlight right there. I finally brought all my brow tools in here again. So I'm gonna use the brow pencil in 03 to add a little warmth to my brows and to fill in any of the thinness that I've got going on. And now to set those in place and to kind of groom them, as I would say, I'm gonna use a clear eyebrow gel to set that and to get my little cattywampus, crazy wild stray hairs laying down. My eyebrows look so dark, and that color is lighter than my brows. Same little pencil brush, tap, and let's get a little bit of highlight right here to lift those brows, give our eyes a little lift. So you guys know what I like to do is put on a little bit of the highlight, blend it a little bit, and then add a little more for impact. So we're gonna blend this out just real softly with a fluffy brush that's clean, just to get rid of any harsh line. All right, now let's go back with a little pop of that highlight again to bring some focus back there. It look crazy. Okay, so to finish this up on our eyes, we need to add some brown liner. You could use black if you wanted to, since it's a bold look. I'm gonna go in with the metallic Plum. I just wanna go, oh wing, why do you hate me so? I'm so annoyed right now. Okay, I'm gonna clean up under the eyes a little bit. Just sweeping off any excess fallout or anything powdered fallout. And then we're going to go in with some mascara. So I'm gonna go in with Optimal Style. That's 2 layers of Optimal Style. Now we're going to clean up under the eye and around the eye by going in with a little bit of brightness. This is the Light Ivory 03 Liquid Concealer. You can use your fingers for this. You can just use a brush, whatever you like best. Okay, so the eyes are done. Ignore the wing. And let's go ahead and pick a beautiful blush. I'd already contoured before I started, so all I need to do is add blush and highlight and some lip color. I'm going to go in with Sweet as a Peach because it's just a really pretty warm. And our double-ended face brush. You see how concentrated that is? No worries. Then I'm just gonna take my barely damp blender and kind of pat it out and take off any of the excess that's on top. And then let's go ahead and do some highlight. I'm going to use the same highlight that I did on my eyes. Same brush, the double-ended powder brush. Now you could use this one if you like. It's just you would have to be a little more precise with it. This one I'm just gonna add a little bit. Now I'm avoiding the wrinkles on my eye. So if you have wrinkles up here, you don't wanna add this highlight. You wanna bring it down a little lower. Now it looks like it's drawn on at first, but once you blend it, it's, you know, perfect. But once we take that brush that we use the blush with and kind of just softly blend it out, gives us a really pretty natural highlight. In addition, if you have the sponge, you can do the same thing. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face with Time Locker. I believe that my mascara is dry now. What I like about Time Locker is it's a very fine mist, so you don't feel like you've got like, you know what I mean, like big heavy blobs of stuff on your face. But that will set everything we've done up till now. And then we're just gonna do the lips and be done. So here you could do a very nude lip, which would look amazing. I want to try the Love Secret because it is more of like this reddish color. It's not really red, but it's got a very deep autumn red to it. And I never use it, so it's just so beautiful. Let's try it. So it is beautiful. It is competing with my eyes a little bit, and I want the eyes to be the focus. So I'm gonna do something to kind of tone this down a little bit and make it a little less in your face, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go with this little bit of highlight and see if I can tone it down. A little bit. Crazy, I know. I'm gonna put this number 2 Miss Sparkle gloss over the top. Oh, that's fabulous. So there we go, you guys. It toned down that Love Secret. It gave it a little bit more muted look, but it's still beautiful and warm, and it looks great with the eyes. So that's it. And that is our look for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like that it's a little bolder than usual and it's a little different. But if you've got some great occasion, Thanksgiving, I mean, whatever, that you want to do something a little more dramatic on your eyes, you can do this. If you don't want it to be as dramatic, you can just not layer as much of the creamy shadow as I did, or put the pigments on or whatever. It'll just be a real subtle one. And I think it'll be fabulous. It'll be gorgeous. So you guys, step outside your comfort zone, do something different. And I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to thumbs up and to join us at the group. I will see you back soon.